Welcome back to Elevation Perspective. My name is Mark, joined today with Frank Tropiano. Today we're talking about CM Punk. It's been a little over 1 year since hell froze over and CM Punk returned to the WWE. Just overall, Frank, how have you felt in this year with Punk back in the fold?
I think, and we'll get into it, he hasn't really done a whole lot because of the injury, right? Because they've been very careful with him. But what they have done with him has been great. I think back to the day he came back and I just like I feel like I can recount the whole moment in my head. You know what I mean? Like I remember the logo pops up, the camera zooms out, Michael Cole had already signed off, and then all of a sudden his music hits. He walks out in the brightest, whitest t-shirt you've ever seen in your life. The guy on the side grabs him and starts yelling Chicago into the camera. It's like the whole thing was just great. And I just remember that. And since then, it's just been really fun.
We'll start off here by recapping what he has accomplished, and we'll look into the future and think about what is next for CM Punk. First off, I'll ask you this, Frank. The best or the top feud he had over this year back?
I guess the only feud he's really had is with McIntyre, right? And I think you could argue maybe Seth Rollins, the seeds being planted, but I, for one, need to see that being paid off before I could say how good it is. But yeah, right now, he's brought out the best in Drew McIntyre, and that's saying something because Drew McIntyre was already very good.
Yeah, I think Drew is the painfully obvious choice here. I was going to say Seth Rollins just because they have really been intertwined so much. They haven't gotten in the ring just yet, of course. It was kind of heavily rumored it was going to be the WrestleMania match until Punk got hurt. But the amount of times they've interrupted each other, these promo battles back and forth, of course, Punk was a special guest referee in that match when they did get physical with Drew McIntyre. So I feel like Seth Rollins is the answer, but of course it has to be Drew.
Okay, listen, that is fair enough. What's brewing between him and Seth has been a nice slow burn. I'm excited. I'm excited for the eventual payoff of that match.
So Drew has been the best feud. I think there's also a really obvious choice for the best match being that Hell in a Cell match with Drew McIntyre. Do you have a difference in opinion?
I won't disagree with you, but I will say the bull rope map match was super entertaining.
Yeah.
The Royal Rumble final between him and Cody, and knowing that he was wrestling hurt adds even more to that, you know? And then, of course, War Games is War Games. I don't want to do the recency bias there, but it was great, and he put on a good performance there. So, I mean, yeah, I could name all of the big match or all the matches that he was on one hand, but of the five of them, four of them were extremely memorable.
I felt that same way in regards to War Games. And I was thinking about all of the big memories for Punk. Right in my head, I was like, oh my gosh, everything he did with Punk and Roman at War Games was money. But I was like, the recency bias there is absurd. That was last week. Let's try to stay away from that. But of course, that is probably one of his biggest moments, especially with Roman Reigns.
I saw a great fan theory, right?
Okay, jumping right
That
to a fan theory.
said, we love a good fan theory. That said a great stable would be McIntyre, Rollins, and Kevin Owens, and that it would be a 3-on-2 going after Roman and Punk because everything they do is about either hating Roman or hating Punk. And in McIntyre and Rollins' case, it's both. And the person was like, it's not, you know, disbelievable that Kevin Owens could just hate Punk. And I think there was rumored a dislike between the two of them as well. So I
Kevin
was
Owens
like,
has openly spoke about his dislike for CM Punk
yeah,
before he was with the company. When he came back, he on record does not like him.
yeah. And so I think that, I mean, look, that would be really entertaining for sure to see the two of them have to coexist even more together, you know?
I could see that being like a main event of a pay per view, like a 3-on-2 kind of match.
Right.
They can't be like a stable going forward. Like they can't.
No, no, I don't think it would be a long time for Punk and Roman, but I do think that it would be really interesting to see those three just like hate team up.
It's not an unbelievable fan theory. Like I could definitely see a world where we do get some kind of incarnation of that situation. As a whole, here, I feel like you can't really give him a proper grade due to his injury for the year back. I feel like it's like an incomplete on a test you would give for CM Punk on this. Overall, I think it was a win. I think we get really excited every time the music hits, the cult of personality. We just kind of have to wait and see what's next.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And I think, you know, going about this, talking about Punk, I think that the most important thing that we could bring up here is the fact that he actually is where he is right now. You know, there was a lot of stuff that happened the first time around he was in WWE. No one needs me to tell them what happened. Everyone knows. Then there was a lot of stuff that happened when he was in AEW, and the fact that he got back here and that look, at least on the surface, we're not with them. We don't know. I don't have his cell phone number. I don't text him how you doing, but it looks like he is enjoying himself. He's enjoying wrestling again. So happy for him. Happy that he's made it back here because truth be told, the way WWE is going, the way AEW is going, it seems like this is the ship that you want to be a part of.
Yeah, and to your point, I think a lot of people, it was probably 50-50 initially when Punk came back, happy and I don't know if disgust was the word, but you know how the internet wrestling community is. They see this, they're tweeting this guy's a cancer, this guy should not be back because he had a lot of baggage, a lot of problems with a lot of guys in that locker room that was well established. It was spoken about on podcasts openly. Like these guys did not like this man, whether I think some of it is still real. I know a lot of it is played up for the character, for the TV show, but I think the problems that Punk have, the problems that Roman Reigns have are legitimate. But of course, they know what the money is. They know they have to work with this man. Hopefully, it is all sunshine and rainbows. We've heard nothing but great things from all the dirt sheet guys. I know Sean Ross Sapp wrote the other day for Fightful that he has not heard a bad word about this man. He's pretty tuned in back there. Like he knows what's going on. He said in his year back, not one negative thing has been said about him. Of course, he's also establishing himself on the NXT scene. He likes working with the younger guys. So far, it's been amazing. With 2024 pretty much over, we'll look toward 2025 and beyond for CM Punk now. Just what do you think is next? Of course, he cut that promo on Raw. He mentioned the Rumble. Seth came out and interrupted him again. I think he's probably going to enter the Rumble here. Just how do you think they're going to treat Punk in 2025? What do you see next for him?
So, yeah, I mean, I think he has to be viewed as one of the Rumble favorites right now. I honestly think, as funny as it is in the year 2024, my three Rumble favorites, and I obviously have not looked at the field or haven't done anything yet, right? Have to be John Cena, CM Punk, and The Rock.
It's crazy. No, I was going to say the same three people. It's crazy.
It's ridiculous. And look, again, I haven't looked at the field yet. I haven't really gotten in tune with what I think the vibes of the booking is. And obviously, they're not going to give so much away here.
It's probably those three and Roman for top four.
Roman is another one. Absolutely. Seth Rollins is going to be in it. I don't think he needs to win it, but that's not for me to decide. And I talked about this in our last episode, and I don't want to beat a dead horse here because I know we get excited for the Royal Rumble, and I know we'll cover it at length. So I don't want to bury that lead too much. But yeah, no, I think he's got to be at least considered as of today, December 5th, one of the favorites for the Royal Rumble.
I wasn't necessarily planning on bringing him up here, but since you did, the reports kind of resurfaced again today that The Rock is not scheduled for WrestleMania. Initially, it happened, and he commented back to the guys, like, don't believe that. But it came out again today. Like, they have no current plans to use him at WrestleMania. And I'm starting to think, like, is there some smoke to this? Is he really not going to be available for Mania after all of this?
Is it wrong of me to say that I'm not worried at all that if he's not available?
No, definitely not. They'll find a perfect way, but it just feels like the way they've been telling this story for now almost 2 years, it's got to be him with either Cody or Roman or both.
Right. I think that there's a number of ways they could take the story that both, Roman's story. I think you could use the Rumble as a launching pad for Cena's final year, even though it probably does not need any more added to it. I think everyone is pretty excited to, see what this year holds for John Cena. I think you could use it for CM Punk, that's a talent. Correct me if I'm wrong. Punk's never won a Royal Rumble. It's probably on his checklist. It's probably one of the things he talked to Hunter about when he came back. Like, hey, listen, I haven't won one of these and I'd like to win one of these at some point in time. Yeah, I think that there could be some smoke to it. He's like the biggest Hollywood actor right now. More leaning towards that he's going to be there, especially the last time somebody asked him. He said, no, that's ridiculous. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I'll tell you what I think here regarding CM Punk. What's next? I'm not exactly sure how we're going to get here, if they give Punk that Rumble win or not. Punk made a very interesting comment to Seth during that promo and kind of said, basically, I'm not interested in you anymore. You don't have the title. Back when he was feuding with them early on, Seth was the champion, and that's what Punk wanted. So I think we got to get this title back on Seth. I think that's how we get this feud, probably at WrestleMania. I think that's probably main events one of the two nights. It gets a little bit murky here because now you probably want to give John Cena one of the two nights. Also, you got to give Roman and Cody, whatever's going on there, one of the nights. So I don't know exactly if they'll get the main event spot or not, but I feel like we're going to get this title back onto Seth Rollins and CM Punk versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania.
Elimination Chamber. Gunther defends in the Elimination Chamber. And I think that that would be a really good spot to give CM Punk the title or give Seth Rollins the title. Seth can reign for a month and then Punk can win at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Punk can reign for a month and then Rollins can win at WrestleMania, however they want to go, or whoever wins can just retain. Gunther would then have had a pretty lengthy reign. It also gives you the Royal Rumble possibility of all those guys in the Rumble, so you don't lose those draws by having that happen at the Royal Rumble. The Elimination Chamber is a big time match, so I think all the pieces are set where if you're going to take the title off of Gunther, it's not actually going to be at the Royal Rumble. It's going to be at Elimination Chamber and make him fight 5 other men. And so he looks strong. I think that's the perfect spot for Punk to get the World Heavyweight Championship. Or that's the perfect spot for John Cena to get the World Heavyweight Championship. But again, we're not doing a Cena video. We're doing a Punk video. So that's
Listen,
what I'm
I think that's a great point, though. I think we should circle Elimination Chamber or the Royal Rumble for Gunther to drop that belt.
mm-hmm.
I am now. I don't. It's rude and kind of aggressive to say I'm out on Gunther now. They did a terrible job booking him over the last handful of weeks. I hated everything involving Damian Priest. He's no longer the guy, in my opinion. Essentially, basically, a few months ago, we all kind of looked at it. Okay, John Cena and Gunther is the match. I'm out on that. I think that'd be the wrong spot for John Cena. I think we're taking this belt off of Gunther. He can have a feud with Ludwig Kaiser for all I care. Done with him. We're moving on from Gunther for the time being. I'm sure they'll reestablish him at some point, but I think he should drop that belt either at the Royal Rumble or at the Chamber leading up to WrestleMania. Getting back on track here with CM Punk, of course, we now know that Paul Heyman owes him a favor. It's a lot of speculation here. Do you have a hunch, a feeling what that favor might be?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say what everyone says and what it thinks is the obvious choice, right? Which is that favor is going to be asking him to get him into the main event of WrestleMania because that's in the kayfabe world right now. That's why Punk came back to main event WrestleMania.
It's kind of poetic / really ironic. Do you remember the promo he cut? I think it was against MJF when he said the 2-night extravaganza, making fun of WrestleMania. He's probably going to be night 1 if he ever gets that match. I don't think he's going to get night 2 main event, which is the real main event in my opinion.
It is. I do agree that there's more on the Sunday night main event than there is on the Saturday night main event. It is funny. I think he's done some growing even from there. And I think he'll be the first person to tell you that.
So for the favor, I know you were kind of bouncing around there. I think it's got to involve Roman Reigns in some capacity. I don't know if that's leave Roman Reigns and be my wise man again. I don't know if that's get me a title match once Roman Reigns wins that title back, which could be at WrestleMania, like you said. There's still so many possibilities, but I think it's a really fun trope they're going to play up now as what's the favor going to be? I'm sure they'll mention it on TV every now and then just to keep that in the back of your mind, but it's a fun storytelling device.
Yeah, for sure. As long as it pays off and we actually figure out what the favor was, don't ignore it and pretend it never happened because they tend to do that sometimes with some things. I can't think of something off the top of my head, but I know it's definitely happened before where they're it was the Shane McMahon. It was the Shane McMahon favor. Or, the lockbox. Shane McMahon had this lockbox with evidence against Vince. And because Shane lost, we never found out what was in the lockbox, right?
Well, I thought you were going to say the golden egg that Austin Theory ran around looking for.
Oh, yeah, no, but that did pay off. We found out that Austin Theory was the one who stole it, right? And then
I don't remember. It was a terrible story. That
one was pretty bad.
To promote the TV show on Netflix, whatever it was.
That was the very end of post-COVID. So we'll give them a pass for that one because obviously the COVID times are difficult to entertain. But just as long as they pay it off and it makes sense and it works, I'm good with whatever that favor is. And you're right, it's a good storytelling device.
We're going to end this CM Punk episode with kind of a question, a theory. One of Punk's greatest rivals within the WWE has been John Cena. We know that the John Cena farewell tour is just a few weeks away. Do you see Punk getting a significant chapter in the John Cena farewell tour, maybe just a one-off? How do you think they're going to incorporate Punk into this last year plus of John Cena?
I know for me personally, I would love to see them fight each other. I do, however, think that they're going to be tagging against each other. I'm sorry, tagging with each other. And if that were to happen, I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? It'll be really cool when Cena comes out and saves Punk or Punk comes out and saves Cena. Just make sure that the duo that they're fighting are big enough to be menacing with John Cena and CM Punk, two of the greatest wrestlers to ever live.
You already know it's going to be Austin Theory and what's the other guy's name?
Uh,
Grayson Waller. Grayson
Grayson
Waller. No. You already know they're going to be doing a little TV show and they're going to be running down Punk or running down Cena, and the other
Yeah.
one's going to come out there. It's going to, but no, that makes a lot of sense. I feel like whenever John comes back, they kind of have him team up with like the hot baby face at that time for the rub, and it usually works. But I agree with you. I think that it's fine if they start off as like a frenemy tag team, whatever, but they should probably have a real match.
Yeah, I mean, look, it could be one. It could be on a Raw. There could be no stakes. I'll be happy about it. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be this big thing. Punk, I know, wants to be involved in some way. I have no doubt that he's going to be. Randy Orton also has to be involved. I would love some type of 6-man tag between the three of them against like three new menacing heels trying to put these old guys like out of their
The
out
new
of their yeah, no, not I don't know if the New Day after 10 years would work there, you know what I mean? I'm talking about like maybe that's where you bring in Gunther and then like two more guys, but not like Kaiser and Vinci. I'm not talking about those guys. I'm talking about like McIntyre and it's just like just retire already and we're trying to end you. Like I think that would be really really entertaining. The three of them do one more like get one over one more time.
that last spot that you're talking about goes to Braun Breaker 100% based on what you're saying.
Braun Breaker's perfect. Gunther, Braun Breaker, one more guy. It doesn't have to be. We don't have to figure it out now. But three guys like that are just like tired of these old guys coming back and stealing all the spotlight, and it's like time for me to make a name for myself. I think it'd be extremely entertaining. I think it'd be a great story to tell.
Frank, you have anything else here for CM Punk you want to share? You want to talk about anything else regarding Punk here?
No, I'm just excited. We'll talk more about Cena. I think the fact that they're going to be around at the same time is what gets me the most excited because Punk's not saying that this is the last year of his career. Like I think he plans on sticking around for a little bit more. He's openly kind of said that. So it is funny that we talked a bunch about Cena today. I think it just shows how intertwined their two stories are. But regardless, Punk's been great since he's been back. I'm glad he's here. I'm glad he's home, as he says. I'm glad hell froze over. I can't wait to see what's next for him.
I think our biggest wish we can have here is health for the next year for these two men. Of course, they're older guys. It's a very hyped up year, especially for John. Obviously, it's the John Cena farewell tour, but for CM Punk as well. I worry a little bit that if Punk breaks down again, they're still going to use him, obviously, but if it happens again, I wonder if Triple H would kind of shy off of him in like the main event scene. I wonder if he won't give him a world title if he was to get hurt significantly again. Now he's probably like 45-ish or so. So I worry about that a little bit, but let's wish for health. That is going to do it for us today in the CM Punk episode. We have some fun episodes coming out. Like you mentioned, the John Cena episode. We'll cover Raw on Monday as well. Hopefully everyone enjoyed, and thank you so much for watching.